My heart's pounding. I'm like, what's going on? She comes charging at me like some bull, yeah? A bull. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kiki, and today I've got a story time for you guys. This is basically my whole housing experience. I don't know how housing works in other countries. I'm from the UK, London. I want to share with you guys my whole housing journey, how I ended up here in my own place. I'm still new here. I literally moved in a few months ago. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to smash the like button. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. And yeah, let's get right into the video. So this all started, right, let's go back. I'm gonna have to give you guys a little bit of backstory. I'm 22 now. When I was 18 years old, I fell pregnant with my first child, Zion. When I got to around 6 months pregnant, I had a relationship breakdown. Things went very left. Anyways, I moved out. From when I was 6 months pregnant, for the rest of my pregnancy, basically I was sofa surfing, moving from one place to the next. I stayed at my friend's house, then I stayed at my mum's house, and I stayed at my grand's house, stayed at my nan's house. I was all over the place, guys. Didn't have anywhere solid to really stay. Pregnant, having a child. Do you know what I mean? So it was a very stressful time. I stayed at my grandparents' house for the very last bit of my pregnancy. Fast forward to the end of my pregnancy. It's time to give birth. I got induced, so I had to go into the hospital before I was actually in labour. And I was in the hospital for about 10 days altogether. I gave birth on day 4. I was in the hospital for that long because of health reasons with me and baby, and also my housing situation, guys. So I've given birth now. I'm in the bed, spending time with my baby, my partner. At the time, I had a support worker. She literally helped me throughout my whole pregnancy. She was there for me. We used to meet up and stuff like that. And she would support me, really. If I needed anything, she would guide me through it or whatever. I was in the hospital bed and I'd already given birth by this point. I think it was the day after I gave birth. I got a call from her. Bling, bling, bling. Hi, there's actually a space available for you now in the mother and baby unit in blah, blah, blah. They've contacted me and they've said that they would want you to come and view it. You do have to view it before you can move in. So can you go and view it today? Right. First of all, my first thought was, oh my God, finally I've got somewhere for me and my child to go. And then I thought, wow, I've just given birth, like, flipping out, I've just given birth, I'm sore, I'm in pain, I'm exhausted, and now you want me to get up out of hospital and go and view this property. I had no choice, guys, I had to do that. So I had to let the midwives know. They was okay with it. They said I could go and view the property, but I had to leave my baby at the hospital. Catch 22. I've got it's my new baby. My baby's been in my stomach for 9 months and now I've got to leave without my baby. It doesn't make any sense. I had to go and view this property to move in. I left Zion with his dad and I went and reviewed the property. When I arrived at the location I'd been given, it was nothing like what I expected a mother and baby unit to be. I don't know what I expected it to be. Maybe something like this. Like, from the outside, you would never have known that it was a mother and baby unit. It was literally a normal road with normal houses, and the mother and baby unit was literally 2 3-bedroom houses, literally next door to each other. So as you go in the house, there's a bedroom downstairs, and then there's a kitchen, a tiny when I say tiny, you could not stretch out your arms sideways. It was a tiny toilet and a front room and a laundry room. That was downstairs. Upstairs there were 2 bedrooms and a very, 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 very small bathroom. But the room that I was viewing was the upstairs bedroom next to the bathroom. When I went inside the property, I met the lady who was showing me around, whatever. There was a couple girls and a guy in the front room. So I went and said hello to them. I introduced myself, whatever. Since I'm going to be moving in, I had to introduce myself. I didn't know who was who, obviously. So I just introduced myself to all of them. They were really friendly. So when I was leaving the property, I was actually feeling so hopeful and excited that, you know, I had somewhere to go with my baby finally, and it really wasn't that bad. It was okay. So left there, went back to the hospital, whatever, and I think I was there for a couple more days, and I ended up going back to my grand's from the hospital because the room that I'd been offered actually wasn't ready yet. It wasn't ready for another 2 weeks. So I spent 2 weeks at my grand's after I'd given birth, and then it was time to move. It's officially moving day. I'm excited. My aunt hired a van because where I had been sofa surfing and literally sleeping in so many different locations throughout the end of my pregnancy, we had to collect all my stuff. So we drove to A, picked up everything, drove to B, picked up more stuff, drove to C, picked up more stuff, and then dropped all my stuff at the end in the mother and baby unit. So I'm officially in the mother and baby unit. I'm in my room, got everything in there, got my keys, everything, all my son stuff. I didn't immediately mix with everybody because the way that my anxiety is set up, I get anxiety in new places, new environments. Well, not so much now, but back then it was quite bad and I was really shy. To start off with, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, I stayed in my room most of the time. I was a new mum as well, remember, it was very overwhelming. I was in a new place, new baby, new routine, complete new routine, and it was very overwhelming. So I did just take a bit of time to myself to just settle and get into the swing of things. There's 3 bedrooms. I've got a bedroom upstairs. There's a family next door to me. I say family because most of the time, guys, these girls, including myself, our partners stayed with us. So there was quite a lot of people in those small houses. Baby or child, mum, dad, times 3 in one place, all sharing the same bath, all having to share one cooker. We all had one fridge each, a fridge like this, very small freezer. So yeah, everything was a bit cramped. As time went on, I started to, you know, mingle with other girls, started to build friendships, and I was just a lot more open. I was happy to chill with the other girls, whatever, and it was absolutely fine. Moving in and adjusting to like everyone else's routine as well. You have to adjust to suit how other people live, which can actually be quite tricky at times. But once me and Zion settled down, it wasn't that bad. It was fun. Obviously, if you're living with a bunch of girls, it's not going to be roses 24/7. Girls are bitchy. Girls have periods. Girls are just emotional wrecks sometimes. And when there's 3 of us all together, sometimes it wasn't great. Not gonna lie, guys. There'll be disagreements about cleaning. Everyone has different levels of cleanliness. There'll be disagreements about noise, like making up too much noise in the night, or partner. Now I became really close with one of the girls. I'm gonna call her Rachel. I became close with Rachel because basically the girl that lived in the bedroom next door to me, she moved out with her family. She moved out. So it was literally me and Rachel, well, me, Zion, my partner, and Rachel's family lived downstairs. We was literally doing everything together at one point. Like, it's so much easier when you're living with your friend. 100% easier, because it's fun. It's like a long sleepover, do you know what I mean? So yeah, it was cool. And then after about a year, we fell out. There were just things going on in the house that I was just fed up of, and it was stuff that I knew would not change. So I called housing and I decided that I wanted to move next door into house number 2. I moved next door because it just got too much in that house number 1. At the time, house number 2 was empty, so they was completely fine with me moving in. I literally packed up all me and Zion's stuff again, and obviously we only literally go next door, so it wasn't a big move or nothing like that. Literally just transferred our stuff over to next door, and that was it. Now I'm living in house number 2. As I had the house to myself, I think a week after I moved into house number 2, it was Zion's first birthday, so I invited all my friends, all my family for a barbecue. Because it was the summer. It was summertime, so everyone came down to this house and we had a really good time actually. Zion had a good birthday. House number 2 had a decent sized garden as well, so it was very nice to have that space for Zion. One morning, It was about, you know, let's just say 8:30, 9 a.m. Me and Zion are woken up to banging on the door. When I say banging, someone's booting down the front door. And I'm like, my heart's pounding. I'm like, what's going on? Like, why are they banging on the door like this? On the front door? Because I locked the door when I was in the house by myself, so I always locked it at night time. I run downstairs, open it, and this girl just barges past me and unlocks the bedroom downstairs. She didn't say anything to me, no hello, no introduce. She literally just walked past me into her room. So I'm like, actually guys, my heart sunk. I was like, are you being for real right now? Is this who I'm gonna be living with? Because this isn't a good start. So I went back upstairs and I was very anxious. Didn't know what was going on. It was alright for a while because, you know, I didn't really speak to her that much, to be honest. She didn't come across as the most friendly person, do you know what I mean? So I just kept my distance, let her do her thing or whatever. And like within days of her moving in, the house was stinking of cigarettes all the time. The house started stinking of cigarettes and I was just like, what is going on? This is the mother and baby. Why is a mother and baby unit smelling like this? Because she would stand by the front door with the front door open, having a fag. My room was on the top landing, so the smell literally just went up the stairs straight into my room every single time. So it got to a point where I had to like literally put a towel under my door so that, you know, the smell wouldn't come into my room. No, my son had just turned 1 at the time. He had just started to learn how to walk. He was crawling. Now he's restricted to just staying in my bedroom because I can't have him like just in the house like that. So anyways guys, I confronted her about it. Long story short, she didn't listen. She didn't care. We all had a support worker. It was the same woman, 2 of them. They used to come to the house now and then to just check up on us, see if we're all right. They would deal with any issues in the house or whatever. They were useless, but yeah, that was their role. Complained to my support worker. They were kind of pointless because they couldn't really do anything about anything that was going on inside the house. Because they don't live there, they're rarely there at all, to be fair. All they can really do is contact whoever you're complaining about and talk to them, try and get them to, you know, stop doing what they're doing. But like I said, she listens to no one, so that didn't work. One time I got a text message from her saying, the support worker, I'm gonna call her Millie, stop contacting Millie. I will do what I want, period. No one can tell me nothing. It was just running her mouth basically in this text message. And I was just like, what? Then the house party started. I could not understand why or how this was allowed. She was allowed to get away with this because this is a mother and baby unit, yeah? This is a mother and baby unit. For vulnerable young mums, she wasn't young, okay? That's what I'm gonna say. She shouldn't have really been in there in the first place. But this is for young, vulnerable mums and their children, their babies. Vulnerable children and babies, yeah? House parties started going on the weekends and stuff like that. Till all hours of the morning, guys. I'm not exaggerating. When I say, I remember one time, this girl had me up till about 5 to 6 a.m. Luckily, thank God, well, it was still annoying for me, but thank God my son was not there that night. These parties, gatherings, whatever you want to call it, antisocial behaviour at antisocial times, not acceptable, do you know what I mean? And it was just too much. Like, I hate inconsiderate people. You lot need to understand that. I don't think anyone likes inconsiderate people because them sort of people, they're toxic. She had these speakers that... The speakers were already in the house when she moved in, but she decided to claim them. Cool, do your thing. I don't really care. But these speakers were bass speakers, yeah? Something like this. Ridiculous. She'd be having parties with these speakers. The whole house would be booming. I'm pretty sure neighbours complained as well. Like, it was ridiculous. She just didn't care. That's what was so weird about everything, because she done things with no remorse. like zero. My bedroom was directly on top of the front room, so I heard everything. Could never sleep, guys. I could never sleep, and it was so unfair. Like, it was unfair. Bare random people coming in and out of my child's home. Like, it was ridiculous. It was uncalled for. It's a mother and baby unit. Like, it's not even a hostel. It's not even like where parties and that are acceptable. It's a mother and baby unit. My son shouldn't need to be hearing anything like that. Drinking, smoking, doing balloons. Like, it's ridiculous. It was ridiculous. You lot don't understand how ridiculous it was. I didn't even say anything either. I would just start seeing people arriving, and I'm just like, flipping hell, not again. Here we go again, sort of thing. And it got to a point where I knew when she was going to be doing her thing, innit? So I would leave. I would just leave, because I wouldn't be sleeping that night. My son wouldn't be sleeping that night, and it's absolutely out of order. The amount of money I spent on Travelodge. Yeah. The amount of money I spent on hotels, guys, so that me and my child could go to get sleep. I'm getting heated, you know. I'm getting heated thinking about this, because I can't believe it. Can't believe it. And again, I would complain to housing. She'd get a tap on the wrist, pretty much. Basically, she would either deny it or just say, sorry, I wouldn't do it again. Always happened again. It always happened again. And she always says she won't do it again. If I went to my emails, I'd probably find out how many times I've checked into that flipping Travelodge. I feel like I've been to every Travelodge in London. After a few months, all of that kind of stopped a lot. Like, I don't know what changed, but she wasn't such a nuisance. And I guess we was cool for a while. You know, it was only me and her in the house, so, well, and her partner sometimes, and my partner sometimes. But when it's only you two in the house, you know, you have to speak to each other eventually at some point. We was cool, whatever. Then a third girl moved in. We're gonna call her Ruby. So a third girl called Ruby moved in. She was like one of the most normal people that I'd met in those houses. Like, she was cool. She didn't really like talk to us that much. She just stayed in her room. We didn't have any children. She was pregnant, so she stayed in her room most of the time, to be honest. She kept herself to herself. I didn't really know her like that. We're actually really close now, surprisingly, but at the time, yeah, we didn't really speak like that. So yeah, Lily's partner lived there sometimes. They fell out, he would go, whatever. My partner, he stayed with us in house number 1, and he stayed with us in house number 2. But when we was in house number 2, he had a job that he went to every day. So I didn't see him throughout the day. He would go early in the morning, he'd come back in the afternoon, evening. One day I got a text from Lily saying, how long is your boyfriend staying here? Because he's been here quite a while. It was something along them lines. It was just so random and weird. I didn't really pay it any mind, because like, it was just random. Like, I didn't get why she was asking me that. Her partner was there whenever she wanted. Everyone else's partners was loud whenever, like, I didn't get it. Then I started getting phone calls from housing saying stuff like, Lily has reported that your partner has overstayed his visit. Guys, I was getting calls like this at least twice a week. It was absolutely ridiculous. And I was thinking, is this girl all right? She's got that much time that she's watching me and my partner and my family, what we're doing. She's watching what we're doing. If she doesn't like it, she's gonna be on the phone. A couple times she would have called housing about my partner, and he was not even in the house. Do you know what I mean? He hadn't even come over for a while. I couldn't understand it, because everyone's partners come and go, and the housing knew that as well, and they've never had an issue with it until now. Why am I being targeted all of a sudden? Then the phone calls turned into, look, you're looking at an eviction if this continues. It was 3 warnings and then you get evicted. Don't believe that, because let me tell you now, this girl got about 50,000 warnings and she didn't go nowhere. I was like, I actually don't care. Like, it's got to a point where there's too many things going on in this house. This girl's doing stuff and pretty much getting away with it. I couldn't figure out in my head how this was possible. It's like the evidence was there, still wasn't enough. During this period of time, I also found out I was pregnant, okay? I found out I was pregnant with my daughter Esmae. That was a whole nother crazy situation I had to deal with, on top of this mad girl and on top of everything else. One night I came home. Me, my partner and Zion came back from my cousin's birthday dinner. It was a lovely evening. It would have been February last year. Came in, Lily is in the garden. I go to the kitchen, I think I was putting away my dishes or I was washing up or whatever, I was doing something. And she comes in, she comes out from the garden into the kitchen and was like, "If you wake up my child, watch what happens." I was like, what? Like I'd had such a nice, lovely evening, guys. I come home, this girl's on a madness. So I was just like, oh my gosh. In my head, I was thinking, I heard her child when we walked in. So I already know he's awake. Not that I woke him up, but I know he's awake. So she storms into her room, finds him awake. She comes charging at me like some bull, yeah? A bull. She comes charging, telling me to come outside into the garden because she wants to fight me. That's not me. My face is too pretty to fight anybody. Are you all right? No, I'm not ruining this pretty face for anyone. My partner gets in between us because she's in my face, yeah? She's in my personal space. She's pretty much spitting on my face that close to me. It was too much. Shouting off her head, blah, 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 blah. And then she goes and puts her child in a car seat. She's packing up to go out. And it's late, you know. I'm thinking, what's going on? She's like, "I'm taking him to my mum's. Watch what I do to you when I get back." At the end of the day, she's double my size. This grown-ass, big-ass woman, yeah. She likes to fight, and I already know that. So when she said that, I was like, no. Why is this happening? I've just come in from my cousin's dinner. I was in a good flipping mood. And now this. While she goes, I call the police. I call the police and I tell them what's happening. They weren't really trying to do much. They were basically telling me, well, someone did come out because I was like, she said she's gonna come back. So when she comes back, then what? So anyways, they was pretty much telling me they can't do anything until she beats me up. I was just like, wow. Like in my head, I literally prepared my body to get beaten up, yeah. It was scary, and I'm not even gonna front. I wasn't brought up like that. I'm not an animal. All of that was new to me. It was new to me, and I've never had a fight with anybody in my entire life. Understand that. That's not me. So yeah, she said she was coming back, so she's gone. I'm in the house. I was waiting up a while. Like I'd amped myself up and I was waiting. She didn't come back, so we went to bed. I lied in bed, guys. I had the biggest anxiety attack I've ever had in my entire life. I was up all night, literally, guys. Couldn't sleep. I was just awake. My eyes were wide awake. I just kept picturing in my head her coming back and booting down my bedroom door, like that's how she was moving. After that incident where she tried to attack me, yeah, I stopped coming out my room, full stop. Because I was getting so depressed at the fact there was nothing I could do or say for anything to change. Like, a week after this incident, I found out I was pregnant. That's how you know God works in mysterious ways, guys. Remember I said she did not come back. If she had come back, I would have lost my baby. So yeah, I was pregnant. It was too much. I literally didn't want to be in the house. I had to stay in the house though, like that's where me and my child was living, do you get it? So we was in my room all the time. I didn't go in the kitchen, the front room no more, nothing like that. I was literally ordering my food in my room so that it was already cooked food in it. I was doing that for breakfast, lunch and dinner. So you can imagine how much money I was spending and how it all affected me for me to even get to that point to have to do that. I was getting more and more depressed. I'm pregnant. I was making myself ill at this point. I was literally just getting quieter and quieter and quieter until I didn't even want to get out of bed at one point. I didn't even want to get out of bed because I felt like I was going crazy. She made me feel like I was going crazy. It's like me slapping you in the face right now, bam, and then saying, "No, I didn't. What are you talking about? She must be mad. I don't know why she would say that." Like, yeah. There was a lot of mind games going on. Females like this stay away from toxic. So one night, I was under a lot of stress at this point. I was having a little argument with my partner. And I'm pregnant, remember. My hormones are all over the place. I'm having to deal with that witch downstairs. It was just all too much. Do you get it? You know when you hear them sayings like, what is it? A good person can be pushed to do bad things or something like that. That is exactly what happened. I lost it, guys. When I say I lost it, I lost it. I was so angry. I had so much built up anger and frustration that I'd been dealing with so much crap for so many months. I lost it and I exploded. Yeah. I literally destroyed my bedroom. When you're angry, you get a lot of strength out of nowhere. I don't know how I managed to. I pulled off my wardrobe doors, throwing chairs, like I was going mad up in that place because I'd had enough. And now people are gonna hear me. And everyone did hear me. It was so crazy, I was out of control and I had to leave there. Lily from downstairs wanted to get involved as well. It just went very left and police were there by the end of the night. Again, like, it's too much. After that night, I never went back to live there again. That night, me, my child, whatever, we all went and stayed in a hotel again. And then I went back to my grand's house. I went back to my grand's house for pretty much the rest of my pregnancy. I went back to that house number 2 now and then to grab a few of my things, but other than that, I was at my grand's house. I needed to get away from that place. That place was too much. I couldn't deal with it anymore. I got to 8 months pregnant and I'm at my grand's house. I'm getting very anxious. I'm like, I can't have my baby here. I can't be here when I'm having my child. I should have said before, I was moving out after I had my second child because you're only allowed 1 child in that mother and baby unit. All that time I was at my grand's house, I was bidding for properties, going to the council, doing all sorts, trying to get somewhere permanent, someone more permanent for me and my kids. Couldn't find anything. It got to a month before I gave birth and housing people suggested that I go back to the mother and baby unit. Are you mad? I had no choice though. I didn't go back to house number 2 with crazy girl. I went back to house number 1. There was only one other girl living there at the time. I had the bedroom downstairs, so I just kept myself to myself. I was 9 months pregnant. I just kept myself to myself after that. I was like, I'm not making no friends in these places because everyone's effed up. This girl that I lived with when I went back, she was weird too. She was weird. Like, she would be making food, she would be making meals at like 4 AM in the morning. Like, everyone has different backgrounds. Everyone's been brought up different ways. And it's very difficult to live with that. It's time for me to give birth. I'm literally 9 months pregnant, full term. Packed up all my stuff. They've basically told me that I'm basically going to be in temporary accommodation after I have my child. The issue of that is that temporary accommodation could be anywhere in England, guys. No, forget, not even England, anywhere in the UK. That's scary because they could have put me in Wales, they could have put me in Scotland, so far away from my family. I'm young, 2 kids, do you know what I mean? Like, I needed to be close to my family. Had my child, gave birth, from the hospital, went to the council. Literally, we drove from the hospital to the council to go and get temporary accommodation. He didn't want to give me temporary accommodation. He said, you do know we can put you really far away. And guess what? You've been offered a property somewhere. So we don't want to send you far away. Just stay, you need to stay local. So he called my mother and baby unit and basically begged them to let me come back with both of them. They did let me come back on one condition, that I could only have 1 child there. Does that make any sense? So I had to pick which child I was gonna have there. They're mad. I had both my kids there. So anyways, I got to view a property. I was so excited. Finally my first flat, guys. And then all hopeful, got to the property. Woman showed me around. It was disgusting. There was mold everywhere. It was just a grubby, small, tiny, dingy, dark flat on top of shops. When she'd finished giving me the view, she was like, that's it. And I was like, what? This is a 1-bedroom flat. I'm entitled to a 2-bedroom. I've got 2 kids. We can't take a 1-bedroom flat. I'm like, how many times am I going to go through this with these people? Then she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yeah, you're just gonna have to go back to the council and let them know because I didn't realise that you was entitled to a 2-bed, blah, blah, blah. I said, you're wasting my time. Like, I've got a newborn, I've got a toddler. We're not even allowed to be there and we need to move out. I finally got to view a second property and it was amazing, guys. Oh my gosh, it was so spacious. It was, what am I talking about? I live in the property now, moved in at the end of last year and I've done it up now. Well, actually I haven't finished my room really, but I've done up most of it and I love it. It's absolutely perfect. It's so spacious. It's a beautiful apartment, it's modern. We're just so grateful to finally have our own space. It's cleared my head so much since moving out and living with other people. I viewed it, I accepted the offer, and I got the keys. And literally guys, this property was empty. When I say empty, it was like a shell. There was no furniture, there was no flooring, there was nothing. I had to do everything up in this place. I had to do everything myself, which was expensive, but at the same time I got to literally create my dream apartment. So yeah guys, I mean, it was a bad experience. Do you know what? It changed me as a person, you know. It changed me because I let a lot of things get to me. I've matured so much more and I don't have time for any kind of negativity. Do you get it? Yeah guys, I'm so happy to be out of them places. What I will say is though, I came out with 2 friends. I did come out with 2 friends and that was really good. I still speak to them today and I'm really grateful that I met them. Obviously they're my friends now. I thought I could finish this video before they woke up from their nap, but my kiddies had other plans for me. So I've got Miss Esmae over here. But anyways guys, yeah, moved in. I'm so happy that my kids have somewhere safe and secure. I'm happy that they're settled down now and that has settled as well. That's definitely helped my mental health a lot. Yeah, that's my story. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked this video, don't forget to smash the like button and I'll definitely see you guys in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye guys.